Welcome to Whispers. So, in recent times, there's been this ongoing drama between Dangote, IOCs, NNPCL, and Nigerian government. So, Dangote has been screaming blue murder. He has been crying up and down. Excuse me. Òkété gbàgbé àbòsí, òdìgbé alátẹ, òwò akáwọ́ lérè. Dangote gbàgbé pé pàṣán tá a fi nà yálé ó ń bẹ lájà fún ìyàwó. Ó gbàgbé pé àtòrí láyé tó bá fẹsẹ̀ wájú á tún fẹsẹ̀ yìn, àti pé nìkan láyé. Soldier come, soldier go. Mo wà kọ́ ṣe pé Dangote àti máa gbọ́ Naija happen to me, Naija happen to me, Naija happen to me. Nígbà tí Naija tó bá happen to the masses, to common man on the street. Ó fi pé òun wà invincible, òun wà untouchable, òun wà unstoppable. But Naija wá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Dangote, kò wá jẹ́ ká gbọ́ràn. Kò jẹ́ agbọ́ràn, ó ń ké up and down, up and down. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kí ló fariwo? Kí ló fẹ̀kún? Kí ló fagbe? Ó dé bólúgbó mu mọ́ra. Dangote ọmọ dáńtàtà, ó máa fi mọ́ra náà ni. Wá fi ṣòsùn wá ìkẹ́ra. Torí tó bá sọ pé bíi ti rí líle. Ẹ sọ pé ìṣe ìdìjà náà rí o, ìṣe ìdìjà. Ẹ̀rọ ọmọ rí odó bó ṣe ń lọ yá rẹ̀, ìṣe ìdìjà. Ẹ̀rọ ọmọ rí odó bó ṣe ń gún yá rẹ̀, ìṣe ìdìjà. Ẹ̀rọ ọmọ rí ọlọ bó ṣe ń lọ yá rẹ̀, ìṣe ìdìjà. So, excuse me, excuse you, I beg, sit down. I beg, carry yourself for your house and stop polluting us with your noise up and down. So you can I was gobsmacked pé Dangote lè sọ̀rọ̀. He looked so stressed, so distressed. Ó wá sáré èjì wá wọn. Àsìkò ó ti rí nǹkan tí ìjáde yóò tọ́. Ó ti rí. Imagine. Well, ọ̀tún wíjọ́, tòsí wíjọ́. Eléyìí ní irọ́ ni, ìyẹn ní irọ́ ni. But inú nǹkan tí wọ́n ń sọ láàrin ara wọn, ìjà tí wọ́n jà déta láàrin ara wọn, pẹ̀lú ojú sùnùkùn àwọn kìmìkìmì kọ̀ọ̀kan jáde. Dangote fi ṣe bí bàbá ṣe dé àṣì àbí nǹkan tí ò bá tẹ̀ ṣe iṣẹ́ a máa fọ́. Dangote was like òun máa lọ o, ṣùgbọ́n òun máa ṣú sága. òun máa lọ pọ̀ kò iṣu àwọn òun máa tú àṣírí àwọn ọjọ́ máa tú àṣírí ara àwọn síta ni àwọn ọjọ́ máa spoilt brat Dangote ó ti rà ó ti ṣe dín soft life gbogbo ayé Fúlàní Buhari tí wọ́n wá sọ́dọ̀ lọ́hùn tó wá lóun nìkan ló mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe ṣúgà Dangote sìmẹ́ǹtì Dangote ìrẹsì Dangote ìgbà Dangote àwo Dangote wọ́n ní is the richest man in Africa mo wà surprise rank ẹ̀ máa ti já wálẹ̀ kẹ́ na so life be agbéjùlẹ̀ làgbégi léra tí wọ́n pa gbogbo bísínẹ́sì yòókù tó wá fóun nìkan sí nígbà tí Tinubu dé bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sọ náà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n lọ ṣe the 7th largest refinery. Oh no, don't get it twisted. It's a good thing. But something like that should be handled by the government. It shouldn't be in private hands because that is too much power. Government ló yẹ kó ní ìnáwó. Government ló yẹ kó ní irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Wọ́n ní 4 refineries wọ́n wá pa. Wọ́n wá ní Dangote ní òun ní saviour ń bọ̀. Àwọn tó lè po rọ̀bì yìí èyí fìyà jẹ wọ́n. I don't know. So Dangote has been shouting up and down. He's been crying. He's been served breakfast. Last. He don't chop his own breakfast. Dangote is not a saint, but he has beaten more than he can chew. He left his own school of fish and decided to dive down into the cabal of the oil sector. He left his own school of fish. Kó tó ra máa lọ jẹ́jẹ́, kó tó ra mélòó. One no swim with the sharks, with the whales, with the white whale. What's the name of this? The deadliest fish. Oh, I can't remember. Wọ́n fẹ́ lọ join school of fish. Wọ́n á jẹ́ tìrùtìrù. Ìyẹn tí wọ́n báyìí tí ì jẹ́ tìrùtìrù. Ẹnì kò kí n jáwàdé. O ò lè máa fọwọ́ lálẹ́. So, well, like every other white elephant project, because Dangote ti ń ké síta pé tí refinery ò bá ti ṣiṣẹ́ ìjọba ní o ìjọba nígbà ìjọba ò ṣe béèrè wò ò ṣe béèrè ò wọ̀lú pàṣẹ oyan kan pàrọ̀ ò bẹ́ fún àlàbàtà òyọ̀bẹ tí ṣòro pómi ló mu kú ni wọ́n tí ò yẹ ní pé àrùn tó ń ṣàbọ̀yàdé gbogbo ọlọ́yà ló ń ṣe síbí ìlú ló wà gbogbo àwọn other refineries kò yẹ kí ìyẹn ti sọ fún ẹ excuse me àwọn awítẹ̀ ń ṣe gànàgànà ń lọ commission àwọn ní àbòsí rìkíṣí rìgímọ̀ síbí òkú nǹkan tẹ̀sìn ẹsẹ̀ yọ síta ń bu nǹkan tó lóun ò bò so it's Dangote and the IOCs and the NNPCL and some key actors as well. So we're gonna find out. So the headlines has been interesting. It's been interesting and quite entertaining too. So Dangote got served breakfast. It wasn't palatable. He didn't like it. And he was throwing tantrums up and down. And it was kind of like, you see, he thought he was going to get public sympathy. He thought they were going to throw in the ethnicity card, that kind of way, because because the masses were like, so what is that? What does that translate to? An average man. Because your rice, your sugar, your cement, an average man cannot even afford it. So how much more with this your so-called petrol? So Dangote has been playing balls. But this one, this penalty kick where he shoot now over the bar, Mawule. He didn't score at all. If anything, oh my God, he got lashed. Even got stepped to the extent that they don't carry in Kangaroo. I think it was Senegal or something that decided they should come and invest in their cement and whatever. So Dangote has so he has it still. It's not during Buhari's it was wagging his tail up and down, up and down, up and it's the star boy. So now it was in cloud nine then. So now it's the romance is over. Reality don't set in. So we're gonna listen to all sides of the story, and it's quite interesting actually. Dangote was now doing interview after interviews, conferences after conference. Where was Dangote that doesn't talk? Koni talk about you don't get the Nigerian injection. Naija injection don't eat down. Naija don't happen to Ram. It don't happen to Ram, but we'll find out. So come along. This is a long one. So come along. Dangote, I think it's greedy. Apart from the oil section, he wanted to go into steel as well. So come along with me as we go into the headlines according to let's go listen to what the headlines is saying, what Dangote, the IOCs, the NNPCL, the Naija, they were just countering one another. They're about to say, yeah, counted. They're about to say, yeah, counted. They're about to say, yeah, counted. But I have come to discover that in the midst of all this drama, each one of them is saying their own part of the truth. And when you listen, it's like a puzzle. You can put the puzzle together, or even though it's been out there in our faces. I mean, they know the rate also shaky in our face, so. In our face, so. And one thing about Nigeria is if somebody said something and they come out to respond to it or to counter it, do you know that is confirmation that is it? It happened. So Dangote crying up and down after getting the Naija injection happened. All those people, IOCs, NNPCL, Naija government, Malta, whatever plant, it happened. So, we can make a sorrow. Well, I don't think we've heard the last of it. I just think they're trying to do it under the table. You know that kind of Dangote was like, "Ma to ashiri o." Àwọn èèyàn náà sọ pé ẹ̀pọ̀n wà lọ́wọ́ wa. Ẹ̀pọ̀n ó wà lọ́wọ́ wa so ewúrẹ́ ti kó sísọ aláwọ̀ so wọ́n jọ máa sábà ara wọn wọ́n á jọ sábà ara wọn wọ́n á yanjú ẹ̀ but at least ó confirm nǹkan tá a ti mọ̀ all the speculations all the rumors everything has been gbẹ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ bá gbiná so. Africa's richest man Dangote abandons plans to invest in Nigeria's steel industry. So, Dangote has been saying the IOCs and NNPCL and Nigerian government want to sabotage him, but they responded on their own side. So we're gonna take the response and then other individual contributions to this Naija ejection that Dangote received. So, excuse me. So Dangote wants us to stop importation of oil and direct all marketers to its refinery, Nigerian agency, which to me, instead of us importing this thing, now us the producer, we they give them, then bring it back. Why not do it locally? Why not? Mo ṣe bí ọmọ iṣẹ́ gìtàkìrá mú epo ogi. Other countries, èmi ò rí Saudi Arabia náà. Ṣé mo sọ Saudi Arabia ṣe ń kó epo ẹ̀ lọ? They are doing it locally. In a normal situation, nǹkan tó yẹ kó bó ṣe yẹ kó rí nìyẹn. Ká lo our own refineries, not privatized refineries ẹ̀mọ̀rú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, but our own, like all these refineries that every year they budget money for, but it's all a fluke. Because they deliberately killed them. They deliberately rendered them useless. So, let's find out. Mr. Farouk Wu said this in a video issued by the State House media. Claimed that Dangote made the request to ensure that all oil marketers in the country would patronize only its refinery for fuel. The chief executive of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, has said billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote requested for total suspension of fuel importation into the country. Just like they did the one for rice for him. They did the one for sugar for him. They did the one for cement for him. All the players that he met in the market. Wọ́n pa wọ́n fún òun nìkan wá kó lè work. Dangote. Dango. Ọmọ dáńtàtà. Mr. Farouk said this in a video issued by the State House media. Claimed that Dangote made the request to ensure that all oil marketers in the country would patronize only its refinery for fuel. It further stated that the agency is unwilling to approve such a request to prevent a monopoly due to concerns about the quality of the oil produced by the Lagos-based refinery. He said, Dangote is requesting that we suspend or stop importation, especially of AGO and DPK, and direct all marketers to its refinery. That is not good for the nation in terms of energy security. And it is not good for the market because of the monopoly. It was earlier reported how Farouk also described products from Dangote refinery as inferior to imported ones. It said Dangote refinery was still in the pre-commissioning stage and had not been licensed yet. Hey! Excuse, you see now. Pre-commissioning stage. It has not even been licensed yet. We haven't been licensed yet, he added. I think we have about 45 completion. 45%. Something that's supposed to be functional at 100%. We can't rely heavily on one refinery to feed the nation. He mentioned further that the products from Dangote refinery cannot compete with the ones imported in regards of quality. Dangote refinery, along with other major refineries, produces between 650 to 1,200 parts per million. Therefore, in terms of quality, their products are inferior to imported ones, he said. So, key points raised. Dangote make everybody, God dive, everything gets here. And he's at 45%. And he's not even licensed yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. Àìfẹ̀lẹ̀ kébù sí ni. Àní onílé ní lọ́wọ́. Àlejò gan wọ́n dì mẹ́rù. Àìfẹ̀lẹ̀ kébù sí ni ò jẹ́ àmọ́ bá ṣe máa jó. Interesting. Kò tiẹ̀ ní license. You see now. Oúnjẹ kọ̀ọ̀kan tí ì jẹ tán. Ó tún lọ ranjú mọ́ ti still. Àjẹòkúta still something that is paint. Bóyá ló tiẹ̀ produce ẹyọ kan. Ó tún fẹ́ ranjú mọ́ yẹn. Ó tún fẹ́ gbà yẹn náà. Oh my God. You see now? So, all this Buhari going. So, in came Sanusi. Sanusi no baba modasi. People in NNPC don't want their lucrative subsidies come to him. Okay? Mohammed Sanusi II said that Alhaji Dangote should not be blamed for buying dollars at lower rates at the time he was building his refinery, because that was the actual rate the Apex Bank was selling to everybody at that time. Excuse me. Meanwhile, because of this so-called refinery, whatever, Emefiele he has Mugari for all the rubbish and whatever that he and Buhari performed to offer Dangote àti our sport brat need the key to the central bank. So, Sanusi commented on the issues when he said, I honestly do not think it is a good idea for me to make comments on these issues, then keep quiet. But some comments surprised me, and I just have to say something. He added, Aliko Dangote did not fix the price at which the CBN sold dollars. Everyone who got dollars from the CBN got dollars at the same rate if they bought on the same day. Which same rate? Because if I can recollect correctly, people were complaining back then. Because the dollars, even people that wanted to go transact business, people that wanted to go study and things like that. Because the dollars, more real. It's only between them, amongst themselves, that they're doing the sharing. The lion of which went to Dangote. So the question, the same day. So we couldn't blame him for buying dollars at a rate the CBN itself decided to sell it to customers. So the question for me is this: let us forget the man Dangote. For conclusion, if the central bank were to prioritize a single enterprise for forex allocation, how many enterprises can we think of that are worthier than a refinery like this one? Sanusi? Really? Okay. Consider the drain on our forex from imported petroleum products, the tens of billions of dollars of forex spent abroad, the huge losses due to the theft in the name of subsidy, By the way, how much forex did Dangote buy from the CBN at the subsidized rate? How much forex did NNPC take from the Federation accountant the same year in the name of running and turning around its dead refineries? What are we benchmarking against? If any Nigerian came to me as a central bank governor with a project like this refinery, I would recognize immediately its potential impact on the economy and give it all the support needed, which you people did. Through Emefiole. So, kilo one, so it just going around in circles. Let our views on forex policies did not becloud our sense of priorities. Repeat priorities immediately. Once the CBN decided to sell dollars at the below market, it would be forced to ration the limited dollars available. That was what happened, which you confirmed. To my mind, giving dollars for the construction of a refinery is better than rice importers and indeed almost every other enterprise apart from education and health, which Dangote is the benefactor. Because he said, to my mind, giving dollars for the construction of a refinery is better than rice importers. There is no rice importers. Remove the S. The only rice importer is Dangote. Dangote is still the benefactor. Is the sole benefactor. You see they thinking. You see they are thinking. Murasi. Indeed, almost every other enterprise apart from education and health, given the impact on the micro. On the argument by NNPC that relying on one refinery is bad for our energy security, Muhammad Sanusi II said, this is the most laughable. On the contrary, relying on a local refinery is far more secure than these imports. But why does the local refinery have to be one? We had 4 refineries, 4 functioning refineries, which were deliberately sabotaged under the Okeoya leadership. So why do we have to rely on one? Because if the four ones were functioning perfectly, his own will be the 5th one. So what about if along the way his own pack up? The 4 other ones will keep the job running. So, excuse me, Sanusi. Sanusi continuing, it is a prosperous argument from an entity that had taken billions of dollars in the name of turnaround maintenance and not produced a drop of product from 4 refineries because it is more profitable to continue extracting rent in the name of subsidy. Guilty. You are all actors. I can confirm any. Olegba. You are all thieves. And you are all in the know. If NNPC activated its refineries, there will be no monopoly. Oh my God. Then we can see the sulfur content of its products and compare them to Dangote's. He continued, until then, keeping quiet is the honorable option for it. NNPC and its spin-offs have lost any right to talk until they fix the mess they have thrown us into. But ẹ̀yin náà ni àgbàlówó mẹ́rin balẹ̀ jòǹtóló. In any case, if the Dangote refinery cannot meet local demand, the gap can be filled by imports. These people in NNPC do not want to end their lucrative subsidy scam, and I don't think they will end it. Wọ́n lè end it. Who are the people to one NNPC? Who is the head of NNPC? Who is the middle of NNPC? Who is the bottom of NNPC? Tabaspe ká wo ethnicity wọn. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ará òkè ọya náà ni? Are they educationally qualified? No. They are not educationally qualified. So, what they run? So, what my run near ground now? So, Sanusi, what are you saying? They be on an NNPC. Mele Keyari, láti gbà wo ni Mele Keyari ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀ sìn, tó dẹ̀ sì wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ń jẹmu lẹ́ẹ̀lọ. So, what are we saying? So, NNPC, Sanusi sọ pé kẹ́ ẹ dákẹ́ o, wọ́n ní kẹ́ ẹ gbẹ́nu yín sàn pé kẹ́ má dà sí. Okay. In any case, if the Dangote refinery cannot, okay, also put the power gbé Dangote tí ó bá wá lè ṣe pé kẹ́ máa import ẹ̀. So gbogbo yín mọ̀ pé subsidies are scam, and I don't think they will end it. Okay, but as a nation, which nation? If we do not thank Dangote, oh, excuse me. Mo ṣe bí nílùú àfọ́jú, olójú kan lọ́ba wọn, nílùú àwọn arọ, ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kan òun lọ́ba wọn. Èrò Sanusi, but if as a nation, if we do not thank Dangote for what he had done as an African to deal a hammer blow to multinationals and the renter system, and for structural change in this economy through value added in various sectors, we should not condemn him. Sanusi Abimusuni law. So as a nation, ó yẹ ká máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Dangote ni fún nǹkan tó ṣe as an African to deal a hammer blow to multinationals. Oh, I'm laughing in Arabic. Sanusi. Mo ṣe bí wọ́n nílò kí n gajọ onírè lọ pé kàn ó dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Dantata Dangote ọmọ Dantata bó ṣe hammer blow táwa ni hammer blow wá bá ṣe bí hammer blow ni Dangote jù sí multinationals tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó gbágbára lé yín lọ́wọ́ àwọn náà wà ń díẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin àti wọn lẹ́jọ́ ń jẹmu lẹ́yìn tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin àti wọn ni àpàdé àlùdé ibẹ̀ ló hàn sí jẹ́ pé ogun kàbáàlì lókè kàbáàlì sàlẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ pariwo àjọmọ̀ ẹ̀yin àtàwọn amúnisìn ni òun á ní Dangote ju hammer blow. Dangote ju hammer blow kò sí jàǹbẹ́ ọmọdé burúkú ni ó bójú ẹ̀yìn ọjọ́ ṣé bí àwọn this so called multinational náà àwọn náà ti ju bọ́ǹbù lu Dangote báyìí wọ́n ti ju bọ́ǹbù lu ṣèbí nígbà tí wọ́n ju bọ́ǹbù lu ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa pariwo IOC up and down. Àwọn ṣé àwọn ọmọ tí ẹ̀yin àtàwọn ọmọ tí national tó jẹ́ pé àjọmọ yín ni torí ìmùnátẹ́jọ́ ń tẹ́ pa refinery mẹ́rin wọ́n wá refinery mẹ́rin Dangote wá lọ ṣe 7 largest in the world wọ́n wá lajú wọn lẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin náà ni kòkòrò tó ń jẹ̀fọ́ Dangote ara ẹ̀fọ́ ẹ̀ náà ló wà wọ́n wá lajú wọn lẹ̀ Dangote tó lọ kọ́ the 7th largest in the world kó wá fọ́ kòkò ọbẹ̀ wọn. A máa blow Dangote yẹ ibà ṣáìt owó afábàrà kékeré a máa blow òfin wa gbà ní lansing ó wá ń ké ọ̀pá Dangote ó wà hypocritical o so o ti lọ́jọ́ a máa blow lábẹ́ ẹlẹ̀ wọ́n wá fún ẹ ní wọ́n tọ́ spear ó wá ń ké up and down tí wọ́n bá jọ a máa blow padà gbogbo refinery gbogbo pàǹdà gbogbo agolo tó jọ yẹn tó wà ní 45% gbogbo ẹ̀ máa fọ́n ká o ó máa fọ́n ká bíi tọrọ fọ́nkálé o you see now so eléyìí wà lẹ́ni ò sí nǹkan so yẹ ká máa dúpẹ́ okay go on sọ Sanusi gbẹnu sí Mike. Also we tend to repeat stories without evidence. Sanusi, evidence. Okay. We hear about Dangote getting favorable taxation, but no one has said what this tax is. Yes, that is it. Because èmi ò rò pé Dangote ń sọ tax. Because tó bá jẹ́ in a normal functioning and country Dangote ó mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe òun ò ṣe lọ sọ́nà àpá west ó mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe wọ́n ní òun invest in Nigeria òun the Nigerian dream mi ò rí ìyàwó mi lẹ́nu. Oh my God, excuse me. Dangote's Nigerian dream was shattered, broken to pieces. Nigerian dream, without the best interest of Nigerians at heart. Dangote, no, Nigerian. Oh my God. Okay, kí ló sọ. Sanusi, carry. We hear about Dangote getting favorable taxation, but no one has said what this tax is. Show us tax ni. Is Dangote paying tax? If he got it alone, or if it was offered to a sector or to pioneers. Okay. Excuse me. And if such a practice is normal to encourage investment, you see now, to make excuses of him. The emir concluded, instead of killing Dangote, we should try and make more like him. How? Nigeria always kills its heroes. Ọmọ mi rántí Old national anthem tó ní the labour of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Dangote ti di hero. And it is best because of envy and pettiness. Ẹjọ́ kí náà envy lára Dangote. Kí náà envy lára ẹ̀. Olówó kò tòṣì mẹ́fà. Quota system quota system billionaire kìíní kan kí náà hẹ́ńbì lára ẹ̀ kí náà for the first time in forever with this refinery thing ti Dangote to read the reality of setting up a business of to taste what an average Nigerian is tasting kí lórúkọ ẹ̀ Sanusi this post Sanusi ó dẹ́ lọ́rùn aṣọ ẹ̀ níbi tó ti yá ìwọ àti àdóbáyérò or something kan tẹ́ ẹjọ́ ń fà kó lọ kọjú mọ́ yẹn kó lọ máa rán yẹn wọ́n sọ pé envy kí náà sí pípa yìí sí Dangote ti gbódó mi níbo ló ti rówó tó fi kọ́ whatever tó fi kọ́ ṣó oògùn ẹ̀ ló fi kọ́ Dangote the state of the whatever Wigwe kó a lot of secrets lọ now Wigwe tó kù yìí ó kó a lot of secrets lọ mo wà kọ́ṣẹ́ pé ikú Wigwe gan ó bò láṣìírí torí gbogbo owó tán yá àbí ẹnu mi ṣá àwọn èèyàn máa ń gbàgbé nǹkan láyé Buhari Dangote ló lẹ̀ gan òun àti Emefiele ṣebí Emefiele ló take the fall for it ṣebí Wigwe náà ti take the fall for it Sanusi lọ́jọ́ kò so nǹkan tí Sanusi sọ nìyẹn so Sanusi ti justify whatever role tí Emefiele play in the whatever role tí Buhari àti Emefiele tó play in the actualization of the elephant project Dangote refinery can you imagine envy kí náà hẹ́ lára ẹ̀ mo àti ẹ̀ tí yìí ká má ẹ̀ tí sọ pé bí ibẹ̀ kí náà hí lára ẹ̀ Dangote tó sì máa wọ́ díẹ̀ síta jù bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lọ just imagine rádaràda so to the next one. Dangote refinery accuses IOCs of sabotage over crude supply, alleges conspiracy to ensure failure. Well, what is failure? Abi, you're systematically telling us that this is a failed white elephant project. Dangote refinery has accused multinationals of hiking crude prices to sabotage the refinery's local crude supply. The management of the 650,000 barrels per day Dangote refinery accused international oil companies operating in Nigeria of planning to ensure the failure of the 19 billion refinery facility. Vice President of Oil and Gas Dangote Industries Limited, Hedwin, said the multinationals were deliberately frustrating the refinery's efforts to buy local crude by jerking up premium price above the market price. Because you're used to dealing below the you're used to dealing under the table. So, speaking to a group of energy editors at a one-day training program organized by Dangote Group, Edwin said the situation was forcing the refinery to import wayo koni man die koni man go bury am so you are importing to import crude from countries as far as the US with the attendant high costs. He also lamented that the Nigerian midstream downstream petroleum regulatory authority was still granting import licenses indiscriminately. ẹjọ́ kí ló wá kàn yín pa yẹn? Kí ló mean by that? Come again. Kí lorúkọ ẹ? Edwin. Ó ní the NMDPRA was still granting import licenses indiscriminately to marketers to import dirty refined products into the country. Ara nǹkan tá à ń sọ náà nìyẹn. Kí ló kàn ẹ́? So come out fáwọn others. Ẹ̀yin nìkan ni kọ́ fún. Okay. Edwin disclosed that the federal government issued 25 licenses to investors to build refineries, but Dangote refinery was the only one that delivered on its promise. Okay, issued 25 licenses to investors. Okay. It said the Dangote group deserved every support from Nigerian government. Lakpabo. You see a sense of entitlement, especially with the domestic crude supply obligation as specified in the enabling law. Edwin pointed out, it is good to know that from the start of production, more than 3.5 billion liters, which represent 90% of our production, has been exported. We are calling on the federal government and regulators to give us the necessary support to create jobs and prosperity. Fallacy. We are calling, come again, we are calling on the federal government and regulators to give us the necessary support. Support kill you there. I knew it. Federal government, continue with the, golden boy card of Buhari. And he said, the talk of the issue, Omayo. And regulators to give us the necessary support to create jobs and prosperity for the nation. Oh, really? If I create jobs and prosperity for the nation. Okay, continue. He observed that while the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission was trying its best to allocate crude oil to the refinery, the foreign oil companies were bent on frustrating the move. Edwin stated, the IOCs are deliberately and willfully frustrating our efforts to buy the local crude. The NNPCL recently met with crude oil producers as well as refinery owners in Nigeria in a bid to ensure full adherence to DCSO as enunciated under Section 109 of the Petroleum Industry Act. It seems that the IOC's objective is to ensure that our petroleum refinery fuels. They've just woken up. Reality just slapped them on the face. You're just realizing that. You're just realizing that. You think all those 4 refineries that are non-functionary, you think na yam? Maybe you think it's a joke, maybe you think it's potato. It is either they are deliberately asking for a ridiculous, homogeneous premium, or they simply state that crude is not available. I'm unavailable. They know they see me. I'm unavailable. Ó tún gbé Davido tún rápálá wọlé láàrin yẹn. Continue, Edwin. At some point, we paid $6 over and above the market price. This has forced us to reduce our output as well as import crude oil from countries as far as the US, increasing our cost of production. It appears that the objective of the IOCs is to ensure that Nigeria remains a country which exports crude oil and imports refined petroleum products. Are you just realizing that? Okay. Oh, okay. You've just discovered that. Okay. Continue. They are keen on exporting the raw materials to their home countries, creating employment and wealth for their countries, adding to their gross domestic product, and dumping the expensive refined products into Nigeria, thus making us dependent on imported products. Edwin of Dangote. Hey, yeah, are you just realizing this fact? Are you just coming to terms with the reality of that? When Dangote was importing the rice, it's the same thing, because the rice is Dangote ń gbé wá, àárí fáàmù tí wọ́n ti gbìn, ṣé àgbìn local rice? Àwọn Fulani herdsmen, all the local farms, whatever, wọ́n máa lọ wá lọ jẹ. Rice tí Dangote import wọnú ẹ̀dọ̀, ṣé Nàìjíríà náà ti ń ṣe? Salt, sugar, ṣé Nàìjíríà náà ti ń ṣe? Cement tí Dangote ń kó wá sínú ìlú wa, ṣé Nàìjíríà náà ti ń ṣe? The pot is calling the kettle black. You've met your Waterloo. Go on. He has a lot to say. Guys, this one is a long one. Dangote is pouring out his heart. The Dangote vice president maintained that it was the same strategy the multinationals had been adopting in relation to every commodity, making Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa to face unemployment and poverty, while creating wealth for themselves at Nigeria's expense. Sorry. I feel your pain. But this exact same thing is what you are doing to local small kí náà ṣe máa ń pè wọ́n, nǹkan tẹ́yìn náà ń ṣe fún wọn nìyẹn now. So go on, stop. Describing the situation, I'm feeling his pain. Describing the situation as exploitation. He emphasized that, unfortunately, the country was also playing into the hands of the multinationals by continuing to issue import licenses at the expense of the economy and at a cost to the health of Nigerians. Suddenly, Dangote is not the health minister. Health of Nigerians. Refinery tó lọ kọ́ sí àárín ibi tó kọ́ sí yẹn, should put into consideration the climatic implication, the environmental implication, the health implication that refinery ibi tí wọ́n gbé sí tó máa have on the people living around it. In developed countries, refineries kò sí lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wọn. Okay. And to the health of Nigerians who were exposed to carcinogenic products. According to him, in spite of the fact that we are producing and bringing out diesel into the market, complying with the Economic Committee of West African States, ECOWAS, regulations and standards, licenses are being issued in large quantities to traders who are buying the extremely high sulfur diesel from Russia and dumping it in the Nigerian market. Okay, so buying sin kí wá ni láti ìgbà wo látàyè alálùwọlé, ṣé báyìí sí nǹkan tí à ń sọ ni pé kó gba license lọ́wọ́ àwọn yẹn to confirm, indirectly confirming that ẹ ṣàfẹ́ kó ṣàjẹ́yìn nìkan, kó ṣàjẹ́yìn gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ń complain yìí, nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe fẹ́yìn tẹ́yìn fi rọ́wọ́ mú ní ọ̀dà kìíní nìyẹn náà. So a máa wá ṣe nǹkan since the US, EU and UK imposed a price cap scheme on Russian petroleum products. A large number of vessels are waiting near Togo with Russian ultra high sulfur diesel, and they are being purchased and dumped into the Nigerian market. Why the sudden concern? In fact, some of the European countries are so alarmed about the carcinogenic effect of the extra high sulfur diesel being dumped into the Nigerian market that countries like Belgium and Netherlands imposed a ban on such fuel being exported from its country into West Africa recently. It is sad that the country is given import licenses for such dirty diesel to be imported into Nigeria, when we have more than adequate petroleum refining capacity locally. In May, Belgium and the Netherlands adopted new quality standards to halt the export of cheap, low-quality fuels to West Africa, harmonizing its standards with those of the European Union. The measures synchronize fuel export standards with the European domestic market, specifically targeting diesel and petrol with high sulfur and chemical content. Historically, the fuels with sulfur content reaching up to 10,000 ppm were exported at reduced rates to countries like Nigeria and other West African consumers. The decision of the NNPCL to keep granting licenses indiscriminately for the importation of dirty diesel and aviation fuel, the Dangote group said, has made the refinery to expand into foreign markets. Edwin said, the refinery has recently exported diesel and aviation fuel to Europe and other parts of the world. The same industry players fought us for crashing the price of diesel and aviation fuel, but our aim, as I have said earlier, is to grow our economy. Edwin stated that because the refinery met the international standard and complied with stringent guidelines and regulations to protect the local environment, it had been able to export its products to Europe and other parts of the world. So, epo tẹ́yìn náà ṣe Europe lẹ́yìn àti other parts of the world lẹ́yìn náà tó ń tà sí. Okay, he appealed to the federal government and the National Assembly to urgently intervene for speedy implementation of the PIA and to ensure the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians were protected. Which Nigeria? Which Nigerians? To ensure the interests of Dangote, which Nigerians? Because all this buhaha, all this grammar, so could translate to anything for a common man. They are still buying the petrol, the diesel, at the price they are still buying it. Edwin, ole tẹ́yìn ṣe, the so-called ìwọ̀nba epo tẹ́yìn tún gbà tí wọ́n tún fún yín. Tẹ́yìn bá ti ṣe ẹ̀ tún tà síta ni. Ó lè gbà yìí talẹ̀ tún tà sí. Tà fún wọn locally. So kí wá ní nǹkan tẹ́ ń jà fún? Kí ni nǹkan torí ẹ̀ ń bá wọn wípé wọ́n ń tà síta, tó bá wá tà síta wá tún wá kó wọlé àbí tó túmọ̀ sí ẹ̀yin náà is to say okay, kí ló sọ? Kí ni nǹkan tó tún sọ? To ensure the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians were protected. Edwin said recently the government of Ghana, through legislation, has banned the importation of highly contaminated diesel and PMS petrol into their country. It is regrettable that in Nigeria, import licenses are granted, despite knowing that we have the capacity to produce nearly double the amount of products needed in Nigeria and even export the surplus. But that is what you said. But my bone of contention is, even with the little complaint pé wọ́n fún yín, tẹ́ ẹ sọ pé refinery yín, you sold it out. You didn't even see any put into consideration these so-called Nigerians that you are referring to, that Nigerians were protected. You ta fún wọn, ìtàlẹ̀ tà sí. So, any capacity to produce nǹkan tí Nigeria need and even export the surplus. But èyí tí wọ́n fún yín pé kẹ́ ẹ ṣe, ìtàlẹ̀ tà sí now. Ìtàlẹ̀ tà sí. Ẹ tà sí USA, ẹ tà sí EU, but ẹ tà sílé. Nígbà tí wọ́n lẹ́ni bá máa ṣe níbi kékeré láti máa mọ̀. Nínú kékeré tí wọ́n fún yín, nígbà tẹ́ ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ sọ pé ṣe tán, in court, ẹ̀yin náà tún wá tà síta. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ṣé ẹ ń fi kún ìnira ni àbí ẹ ń fi ìdẹ̀ra sí ayé àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù? Wọ́n fún yín, kò tó nǹkan ìwọ̀nba èyí tí wọ́n tún fún yín. Tẹ́ tún lẹ́ ṣe o, ẹ tún tà síta. Àwọn akótiléta. Since January 2021, ECOWAS regulation has prohibited the import of highly contaminated diesel into the region. Okay. Ẹ ń complain pé wọ́n fáwọn èèyàn ní licenses, wọ́n fún wọn ní licenses, wọ́n wá import inferior, àbí? But àníṣe, the question is, ìwọ̀nba kékeré tí wọ́n fún yín, tẹ́ ẹ dẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ ṣe dáadáa, ó meet EU standard, ó meet US standard, ó meet world standard, ó meet American standard. Kí ni dé tẹ́ ẹ tà síta? Kí ni dé tẹ́ ẹ tà locally fáwọn èèyàn, so that àwọn èèyàn wá lè rí nǹkan láti compare pé epo Dangote ó mọ́ o. Epo tí àwọn other indiscriminately licensed dealers tí wọ́n gbé wá kó mọ́. Okay. The puzzle is fitting. Gbogbo ẹ ti ń fojú hàn. Ó ti ń fojú hàn báyìí. So, ìwọ̀nba tí wọ́n tún fún yín, ìtàlẹ̀ yín náà tún ń tà sí. Okay, continue. So another person bá tún bọ́ta pé okay o. Dangote wants government to bend the rules for him. With IOCs leaving Nigeria. So, this is another version of the story, another angle. So somebody said, Dangote built a refinery, got stuck, and the government gave $1 billion. No businessman has gotten such support. Yet, is still asking on government to support more. That 1 billion tí wọ́n fún Dangote, tí wọ́n bá give other small scale businesses, small manufacturing, small producing, small exporting, small scale businesses, ó máa breathe life into a lot of businesses. Wọ́n fún ní $1 billion. Òun nìkan $1 billion. Ó dẹ̀ ṣe ń pariwo government support. No businessman has gotten such support, said Shedrack, international business ideation specialist. Shedrack has warned that Dangote's request for the government to bend rules for him could drive international companies, IOCs, out of Nigeria. During an interview, Shedrack expressed concerns that if the government yields to Dangote's demands, it could lead to severe consequences for the country's economy. If the government bends rules for Dangote, international oil companies will leave Nigeria, Shedrack stated. He shared that initially he supported Dangote when accusations arose, but changed his stance after conducting his investigation. When the issue of accusations came up, I was on Dangote's side, but after scrutinizing the claims, I found some things, he revealed. Shedrack emphasized that Dangote's problem is not with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), as Dangote has already received about 39 vessels of crude oil from the government, which, as confirmed by Edwin, is sold to the US and to EU. Kò ta epo, kò ta the so-called epo tó lòun ṣe, kò ta to the local market o. Kò ta to the local market. Dangote seems to be wanting the government to bend the rules for him. And his problem is with the international oil companies, he added. He then highlighted the significant support Dangote received from the government when the refinery project ran into difficulties. I am saying so because Dangote built a refinery, and midway into building the refinery, it was stuck and needed funds. The Nigerian government of that time, Buhari, intervened. They gave him a facility of $1 billion to support what he was doing. And I don't think any businessman and company has enjoyed such leverage from the Nigerian government. This $1 billion at whose expense? Where did they even get the money to give him? Is he gonna pay it back? Shedrack explained. He criticized Dangote for not securing the proper Okay. The Nigerian government at that time intervened. They got him a facility. They got him a facility of $1 billion to support what he was doing. A facility. It's a loan. Nigerian, that is a loan. They got a loan for him. Kí ni wọ́n fi ṣe surety for the loan? And I don't think any businessman or company has enjoyed such leverage from the Nigerian government, Shedrack explained. He criticized Dangote for not securing a proper agreement on feedstock before building his refinery, leading to his current predicament. And because of the way his business as usual. Before you build a refinery of that structure, you must secure an agreement on that feedstock, Shedrack noted, stressing that no one can demand crude oil without an existing agreement. Absolutely. Bó tiẹ̀ ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ a sense of entitlement. Mi ò mọ nǹkan tó pè é. Bóyá kò rò pé òun kàn máa débẹ̀ tó bá dẹ̀ ti snap pé Dangote. Wọ́n máa kó gbogbo ẹ̀ fún. Shedrack urged Nigerians to think critically about the public dispute between major players like Dangote and the government, cautioning against being swayed by emotions. Yes, okay. Sanusi was pulling the emotion, was using the emotional and the ethnicity, tribal card now. But could work. Dangote was trying to pull the emotional kinino could work because people were like, the masses were like, not having because excuse me, after all, when the going was good, you were all party attending each other's parties, So cautioning against being swayed by emotions. He also warned that if the government continues to yield to such demands, it could lead to the loss of royalties and taxes, ultimately worsening the nation's economic and security situation. A time has come for us to creatively engage these people, make a claim, and back it up with facts and figures, Shedrack said, calling for responsible actions from both the government and business leaders to prevent further deterioration of the country's economic state. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, mo ti like táwọn masses ò ṣe dá sí pé you're on your own, sort it out, it's your fault, okun yín ni ẹjọ́ máa yanjú ẹ̀. And somebody said, Nobody is out to sabotage Dangote's refinery. He is now in an industry with bigger players. That is just it. Dumebi said it's illogical for anyone to want to frustrate Dangote refinery, especially during an FX crisis. This was a former presidential candidate of the ADC in the 2023 general elections. Dumebi has said that there is no sabotage against Dangote refinery, but rather Aliko Dangote has just stepped into an industry where there are bigger players, different from his when he had a monopoly or was part of a duopoly in Nigeria's food and cement sector. Sports on. That is the fact. That is just the fact. Go test the waters. No. Go test the waters. Or go jump into it. Or go money soft landing like it did in other sectors. But this one, last time we was up cabal. This one is the life of this is the money pot of Nigeria. Oh, no lobe. Wọ́n wá ní ìwọ ń bọ̀ ló ti ń bọ̀ ó wá ké síta. He said this in an interview while responding to the allegations of sabotage against the Dangote refinery, as he said that since the issue between the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Nigerian National Commission, NUPRC, Nigerian National Petroleum Commission, NNPC, and Dangote refinery came into the public sphere, it has been blown out of proportion. Giving his personal take on the matter, Kachiko said, Dangote has operated in a space for the longest time in the food sector, where is akin to being a monopoly. Absolutely. Sports Kosirombe. Excuse me, Kosirombe is operated in the cement sector, where is probably part of a duopoly. Even with that, I've forgotten this guy's name. They've been going back and forth. I think they are in court, if I remember correctly. This is the first time in forever Dangote is entering waters where you have mega players. Yeah, so you have the sharks, you have the white what's the name of it? I can't remember this deadliest fish or white something, and other sea monsters. So probably bigger than his company is. And he cannot understand that Dangote, the superstar in food production or in cement production, is not a superstar in oil. Ote near the star. Go near the star. Go star lakbabo. It's not a superstar in oil and gas, where you have the likes of Shell, Mobil, and the rest. So, I think that that's one of the issues that is at play here. Addressing the allegations of conspiracy against Dangote refinery, he said, I don't believe that it's in the government's interest in a country that is suffering a foreign exchange crisis to frustrate a Dangote refinery when it's in their interest to have domestic production, so they don't spend all the dollars we are spending every month to import oil. So I don't understand why anyone would think that. And again, when people have made allegations that people have conspired to frustrate Dangote refinery, let me ask a question. If all the refineries in the world, barring none, are all importing oil from different parts of the world, why will anyone want to frustrate a refinery in Nigeria? who is going to be like the other players who can import oil from any part of the world? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I believe that the argument is emotive. We do understand that our government has failures, serious systemic failures, serious operational failures, but we don't have to bring that into every conversation, because in this conversation, that is not what the issue is, especially when the government has brought out figures to say this is what we allocated to the different refineries. And if we do not understand that the government has forward sold a lot of what that they should have at this moment because their refineries were not working, that is the conversation. He then added, I don't think we are on the right path when we make this whole issue about government, NUPRC, NNPC not giving Dangote enough growth up. I believe that because this matter got into the public space, sentiments entered this matter. It's being blown out of proportion. When you have a refinery as large as Dangote's refinery, because when it's fully on steam, which is not, that is going to be the 7th largest refinery in the world. You have to have planned or forecasted properly. You have to had 4 years before have your contracts in place. Kachuku then spoke on Dangote refinery complaining about not receiving the 29 million barrels of oil that the NUPRC claimed to have allocated to the refinery, saying, we hear that something was promised Dangote. In the oil and gas sector, you don't work on promises. That is it. But who promised him? When did they promise him? What was promised him? We need to find out. If he does have a contract, and if they fail to meet their contractual obligations, Dangote can head to court. I suspect that there might not be any contract. Spot on. Who is this person? Dumebi? Well done, Dumebi. Well done, Dumebi. So, as if that was not enough, Then, what's this guy's name? I've forgotten his name. Then he came out and said that external interests invested in Nigeria's energy poverty use African face to fight narrative war. David. So David now came and said that he was contacted by one NGO that he should come and smear. He should come and do a write-up. Smear Dangote's refinery. Smear campaign under the pretext of environmental concerns. So, the plot gets thicker. It was just like it kept going on. I only picked the interesting ones, and then there was I can't remember the person's name now. It said that okay, I think I found okay, so it's the same Dumebi. So Dumebi now further continued in his I think it was an interview, and Dumebi said Nigeria has forward sold most of its crude, doesn't have enough to meet quota for domestic refineries. So Dumebi has highlighted the challenges facing Nigerian refineries, including Dangote, due to the government forward selling crude oil. Dumebi said that the Nigerian government has forward sold most of its oil, which has caused the quota of crude oil needed to be allocated to domestic refineries to not be as much as it should. Dumebi said this in an interview while discussing the controversy between the Nigerian Oil and Petroleum Commission (NNPCL) and Dangote refinery, where the management of Dangote had come out to say that the NNPCL had not allocated the 29 million barrels of oil promised to the refinery. Promise beginning. Promise the former Dumebi explained the problem between NNPCL and Dangote refinery, which it described as non-issue. As a non-issue, said, we have several refineries in Nigeria. Abio, Dangote's refinery now happens to be the largest. But outside Dangote refinery, you have the government-owned refineries. And you have similar refineries like Watersmith and what have you. What NNPCL has said is that they've given several allocations to these people. But we forgot one thing. The last administration entered into a lot of known agreements. And entering those known agreements, they forward sold our oil. Or they use our oil that we are producing right now as a guarantee. What this essentially means is that the quantum of oil most people expect that Nigeria has to meet our domestic requirements for our domestic refineries is not as should be. So we don't want to speak to that. We don't want to understand that we are actually in a mess where that is concerned. And we want to speak to issues that, as far as I'm concerned, are really known issues. So, Tony, Dangote, Buhari ló fún ẹ ní $1 billion. I was like, kí ni wọ́n fi dúró? Kí ni wọ́n fi dúró for the $1 billion? Because it's a loan. So, kí ló wá ń sọ? Àwọn náà sabotage ẹ̀. Buhari tó commission ẹ̀ náà ló sabotage ẹ̀ náà. Ó lè gbà. Ó ń ṣe mí ò ń gbà mí. Which is the truth. Because Buhari ó kàn yáwó lọ ní tiẹ̀. Àṣebó ni petroleum. Buhari is petroleum. Wọ́n lọ. In a sane country. In a sane society, somebody like Buhari, ẹ̀wọ̀n ló máa wà. Ọlọ́run, ẹ̀wọ̀n ló máa wà. Tó máa wà. You see, there's no accountability. Kò sí consequences. Òun la ṣe bára wa in this mess. Dr. Nidu maybe so. Dangote's refinery can get oil from any part of the world as long as he has money to pay for the oil. I don't think he has money to pay for the oil. That is another problem. Dangote's refinery can get oil from any part of the world as long as he has money to pay for the oil. I don't think he has money to pay for the oil because he was complaining that he was paying $6 more for the oil he was getting in US. He doesn't have the money. Telipe is not a child's play. We expect to pay government to cushion the kidney. Kani Buhari ṣì wà ńbẹ̀ wọ́n máa cushion it, but it's gone. Àìkọ́nú àwọn ẹ̀sùn wá sọ pé ọba kan sì jẹ tí kò mọ Joseph. Oh my God. The same as the Watersmith. The same as any other refinery in Nigeria. He went on to explain, and again, We know every year NNPC gives out contracts to several marketers of refineries from all over the world promising them crude, and they pay upfront for that crude. So where they are expected to get crude oil out of season beats me. But what I understand is happening is that they have gone outside of this to say we have some crude oil and we are given this to Dangote, to Port Harcourt refinery, that I understand is coming on steam. They are testing right now to worry Port Harcourt will move to Watersmith and to the other refineries. So I don't think there is anyone out to sabotage Dangote refinery. Dumobi then said, Nigerians need to be better informed and have a better understanding of the whole situation. When you speak about the IPA and local refineries, most have access to Nigeria's portion of the crude oil. The IPA was not detailed or specific as the say. This is the quantum of crude oil that must be allocated to any one refinery, or did not say that any local refinery could have all the crude oil they require from Nigeria's portion of the crude oil. So it was silent on that. And if you understand how the oil business works and refining, you know that there is no refinery in the world that depends solely on crude oil or domestically produced crude oil. You will also be surprised to know that all over the world there are nations that don't have oil but have refineries. Of course the so-called mortal expose. Ṣé mortal ní oil ni? Mi ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀. That one is another kidney altogether, because Dangote was like, ibo mi ò bá tiẹ̀ lọ yóò ṣu àgà. But ó tún ti sọ di hush. So guys, that is Dangote's whatever, but it's making sense. The puzzles are coming together. They are coming together. So the bottom line is Dangote got served. Dangote got Nigeria happened to Dangote. He was promised. He was calling on government support. Support gbogbo support tí Buhari ti fún kọ́. Torí àwọn dojú forex dé. Torí ẹ̀ àti other atrocities Emefiele wà níbi tó wà. Torí ẹ̀ Wige jábọ́. And there's some other things underneath. That will still come out. So it's an unfolding scam. It's an unfolding event. So Dangote rò pé tóun bá dà síta, tóun bá dà sí rough, bóyá ó lè force hand ìjọba tó wà ní òde ńsìn. Pé bóyá ó máa rí public sympathy or something. Ọmọ olùlẹ̀ ni o. Olùlẹ̀ ẹ̀rà láwa. Olùlẹ̀ big time o. Olùlẹ̀ big time. Nígbà tó tiẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ti mọ́tà jáde tí wọ́n ní Tinubu ló ní, ọmọ Tinubu ló ní, family kìnnìkan Tinubu ni. Excuse me, tó rò pé màá fi yẹn ṣe diversion or something. Kò work o. Olùlẹ̀ ni. So come on. Because if 4 government refineries were grounded though, what is the assurance that this private one owned by Dangote could need the white elephant project? Torí ẹni tó mú aṣọ títí ẹ̀ tó fàya, tó fàṣọ ara ẹ̀ ya, ó lè dáná sí tọmọlàkejì. ó lè ṣe anything sí tọmọlàkejì because nígbà tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì tí wọ́n deliberately tí wọ́n incapacitate their own refineries kí ni Dangote refinery kí ni wọ́n ti pangolo tó lóun tó jọ what is that tó wọ́n ń pariwo wọ́n fún wọn ní láísẹ̀nsì wọ́n kàn ń fúngbá wọ́n ń fàwọ̀ ní láísẹ̀nsì kí ló kọ̀ wọ́n pa yẹn mo ṣe bí bàbá ta bàbá ogun là á kọjú mọ́ so wọ́n expect pé kọ́ máa fún wọn ní láísẹ̀nsì kọ́ wá fóun nìkan but nínú nǹkan tó sọ fúnra rẹ̀ náà ló sọ it is words against him pé ìwọ̀nba tí wọ́n fóun o ìta ló tà sí o ìta ló tà sí so kí wá láṣọránsì pé tọ́ba tiẹ̀ wá kó gbogbo ìlú láyà pé òkè gba máa jẹ́ àdánìkànjẹ́ máa jẹ́ kí láṣọránsì pé o tiẹ̀ máa wá tà kankan sínú ilé tó túmọ̀ sí pé ó máa ta 99.9% síta wọ́n 0.5% gan ló máa no àwọn òyìnbó gan sọ pé don't put all your eggs in one basket for an entity láì ṣe government kó wá ní that much kínkínní la fi ń dọ́kòwò arítútó pa nídìí ráìsì náà arítútó pa nídìí sìmẹ́ǹtì náà olóòlù mo yẹ thousands tó ń ta sìmẹ́ǹtì sí arítútó pa nídìí sìmẹ́ǹtì náà ẹ̀ẹ̀kọ́ lé fáwọn èèyàn wọ́n tún máa struggle láti kọ́ fara wọn tún máa frustrate effort wọn. So Dangote pẹ̀lẹ́ tiẹ̀ o last o ti ń jẹ breakfast títí tiẹ̀ báyìí o so fi ṣoṣù kó fi kínra o bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe tá bá sọ pé ká wò ó lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ àǹfààní but àǹfààní yẹn ó máa fi síbì kan torí wọ́n sọ pé Nàìjíríà àwọn aráàlú but ìwọ kọ́kọ́ fúnra rẹ̀ ìwọ̀nba èyí tó ti ń ṣe mò ń fara ní wọ́n ní ìwọ̀nba èyí tí wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ níbi ilé ò fi ṣaráàlú lóore ìta ló ta sí ẹni bá tarí alẹ́ ẹ̀ lọ́pọ̀ tó bá dìgbọ̀ wọn kò ní ríra nígbà tó mọ̀ pé ò tí ì parí kínní kí lè ṣe commission sí nígbà tó mọ̀ pé òun ní stock field òun sọ́ta àti ibi tó ti máa fún ẹni ibi tó ti máa gẹ́ẹ̀tì epo ó wá lọ sí shopping plaza ó sọ́ta àti ibi tó nǹkan tó máa kó sínú ẹ̀ plaza yẹn kó o tí ì ṣe tó o kàn ṣe ṣàgbẹ̀ lójú yóyò ní o wá sọ pé torí pé wọ́n ti sọ pé máa wọ̀ ọ́ wọ́n ṣe ìlérí wú ìlérí ẹ̀ Dangote you are talking of promise when the masses go to buy your rice do you sell it to them on promise they okay give me 5 bags of rice so I promise to pay you next week no be cash and carry when common man go to buy Dangote cement do you sell to them on promise no be cash and carry so you are expecting to get crude oil on promise if you are man enough why don't you after all you don't necessarily even have to buy the oil wait for Nigerian oil no be so you can't go to other countries buy the oil and come and refine àbí nǹkan tó ṣàṣọ nìyẹn if the said oil the little said oil that was given to you that you said you refine you sold it out yeah so fẹ́ máa gbà lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ kó máa maximize profit kò lè work bẹ́ẹ̀ kò lè work kásọ́pá sáwúsá tẹ́ bá ti ṣèdí síra yín ó lè yọjú ẹ̀ fún ẹ bọ́tẹ́lẹ̀ so it will be the death of you will bring the ìwọ ló máa expose the so-called oil and gas sector cabal all the kìnìkan ó mì pé láyé Buhari was the minister for petroleum so ẹjọ́ mọ̀ sí òun ló sọ pé kó máa jó lọ mọ̀ wẹ̀yìn ẹ mo wà ń bẹ̀ fún ẹ so you're in a big mess Yeah, in a big mess. So ó dàbí ẹni pé defeat tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí other refineries wọ́n máa fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ sí títí ẹ̀ o. Wọ́n wá lọ ṣe seventh largest. Ọmọ ìwọ ló mọ bí tára ẹ kù sí o. Ó ti máa jẹ gbèsè gan o. Ó ti máa jẹ gbèsè gan o. Ó ti máa jẹ gbèsè gan o. Emefiele ní if I start to talk. Emefiele bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ̀rọ̀. Ilẹ̀ máa bàjẹ́ o. But in a sense society ó yẹ kó mú Buhari ṣá. Ó yẹ kó mú Buhari. Wọ́n tún ti ta epo tí ò tiẹ̀ tí ì jáde. Wọ́n tún ta. Wọ́n ti ta lọ. Láì kìí ṣe àlùmọ́ọ́nì region yìí. Ara nǹkan tí no wonder tí ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ regional government. Láì kìí ṣe àlùmọ́ọ́nì region yìí. Níjọ́ mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sọ pé Zamfara gold is for Zamfara. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà? Ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n kọ́ ni kò tó. Dangote pẹ̀lẹ́ tiẹ̀ o. Máa líìkì wúntẹ̀ o. Máa líìkì o. So ó máa fi mọ́ra náà ní tí Nàìjíríà ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí other Nigerians yẹn tó máa dé hospital tí ó ní sóògùn tàbí tóògùn bá wá sí pé tí wọ́n bá san wọ́n ní treat wọn. Àwọn ọmọ ṣe education Sanusi ti ẹ̀ sọ Sanusi ní the refinery ó wà important gan. So òun ò rí ẹni reason tí kò ti yẹ ká ta lé tọ̀nà kó pa everything ti yàtọ̀ sí health àti education wọ́n wá kó gbogbo ẹ̀ lé refinery that is a private it's not governmental o àdáni private ni o láìdẹ̀ kìí ṣe kó bóyá government ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún ará yòókù. Dangote tó bá bọ́nu ilé ìṣọ́mù lucky. So guys, until I come your way again, Dangote pẹ̀lẹ́ tiẹ̀ o. Bye.